Hello everybody and welcome back to Blocker's bonus stage to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum. In this episode, we'll be taking on Yugi's grandpa. So let's get started.
I see you're dueling well, Yugi.
Grandpa!
But let's see how well you do against me.
I won't be able to let my guard down for a second. This is going to be my toughest duel yet.
That's right. I may be old, but with age comes experience and knowledge. Now why don't we begin, Yugi?
All right. It's time to duel!
So, Yugi's grandpa, he plays dark monsters and wood monsters. So, I recommend bringing light and bringing fire. I recommend bringing light and fire to beat his monsters. And I also recommend bringing wood, because wood and fire both get the biggest benefits from this stage. So how this stage works is actually kind of interesting. It has these tiles that flip over, and every time you land on a tile, the tiles adjacent to it, not in the corners or diagonally, but on the sides of it, will flip over. However, there's only two possible sides, a fire tile and a wood tile. Whichever tile is up, the one you see, is the attribute that gets a boost from being on that tile. So for this duel, I do recommend light monsters since he plays mostly dark. And there's no thunder to beat your light monsters, so you can load up on light if you use a lot of light. And some fire, because the fire monsters are recommended because he plays a pretty strong wood monster called Cockroach Knight. Which, for this game, is actually really strong. It's worthless in the real game, but in Capsule Monster Coliseum, it's very strong. And I'm bringing out wood as well, because obviously this stage does benefit wood, and I use wood. And I'm trying to level up my needleworm. That's the main thing that's the main goal I'm trying to achieve right now. Funnily enough, Grandpa plays an earth symbol. But, as you'll notice, he actually doesn't play any earth monsters. When you see his monsters, it's all dark and it's all wood. So, no earth. So it's really weird. Grandpa is also the final boss of this stage, well, of this area. Because remember what Joey said in part 1? How this game is split up into 4 different areas. Yeah, 5 opponents each area. Grandpa's the last boss. And it kind of makes sense because Grandpa is kind of a game master and a game expert. So you notice right here, wood, 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 dark, and dark. Yeah, Grandpa is definitely the game master, and he's the one who got Yugi into games. Because,
It's time to, how do you say, raise the roof.
I love Grandpa, he's funny. But yeah, Grandpa is an archaeologist, and he's always had a fascination with games and puzzles. So that's why he runs a game shop, which is kind of a detail that the dub glosses over. It was always fun in the show seeing Grandpa Muto duel, because you don't really see him duel that much. Kind of like in Master Roshi and Dragon Ball. Remember how Master Roshi very rarely gets into fights? It's kind of like that here. Grandpa pretty much is the Master Roshi of Yu-Gi-Oh! For Joey, at least.
There's nothing better in life than playing games with my grandson.
Aw, that's sweet. That's nice. I like this. Seriously, that is pretty. That is pretty wholesome right there. But yeah, anyway, big strategy. Try to plan ahead. You know, that way, if you bring wood and fire, you can get a boost from both sides of the coin. And try to plan ahead a little bit. If you're going to attack, to have the space nearby you flipped, so it's beneficial to you. Yeah, that's definitely the best strategy. And if you notice, Grandpa actually uses an Yugioh piece. Now this is where I get into fusions in this game. Yugioh in this game specifically is just not worth it. For one, you have to level up all 5 pieces, and the pieces themselves kind of just suck. You know, most of them have 1 attack range, so they're not really worth leveling up. The one he's using has 2 attack range, thankfully, so it's easily one of the best ones. It's definitely one of the best ones. But the other 4 are really bad.
I better do something before I lose.
The head of Yugioh specifically, he has a stepping stone pattern with diagonal attack and 1 space. You know, 1 attack range, which is just awful. Like, you'll never be able to line up a shot with that thing. And then if you actually go through the effort to fuse all the Yugioh pieces together, it's not worth it anyway, because he has diagonal attack and diagonal movement. So you really have to plan ahead with your attacks for him. And he has 450 attack. Or his monster point value is 450. Which means you won't even be able to play him on the earlier stages.
It's not over yet. I'm not giving up.
And as you go on, I mean, you'll only be able to summon him and maybe 1 other monster if you're lucky, but you know, that goes against my recommendation of 1 strong monster. Remember, multiple small attacks can beat out 1 large monster, because 1 large monster can only attack 1 time. 5 small monsters can be spread out and attack multiple times, which will add up for sure. Fusion in general in this game is actually kind of useless. You will not see any on this playthrough. There will be 2 evolutions, but I'm not going to spoil them.
Every move is another step in achieving my future.
But the biggest problem with Fusion, it gives you 1 big boss monster, and you have to be strategic, since if you lose it, you can't keep them. If that monster if you lose the battle, that monster's gone. You have to refuse it again.
Shouldn't you have more respect for the elderly?
And doing this takes away 2 to 3 to even 5 monsters from your field. A strategy I advise against. Because remember, and I destroyed the Yugioh piece. Remember, swarming the field is the ideal strategy.
Oh, how annoying.
But yeah, like I was saying earlier, Grandpa definitely does fit the final boss mold. As he's the mentor of the game, so it's kind of a surpass your master to move on. You know, kind of like an Obi-Wan Kenobi or Master Roshi. Though, I guess Grandpa isn't really a master to Yugi. He's a master to Joey. And I'm going to take out that Kuribo here. And hopefully get a level up. Let's see if that's enough. Okay, Kuribo's destroyed. Not enough. But yeah, I mean, other final bosses could have been Duke. Like I mentioned, they could have been a twist that he invented this game along with Dungeon Dice Monsters. Or Joey, since Joey's the main character. I mean, Joey's the 2nd most important character to Yugi, at least. Growing up, I always wondered what this stage is supposed to be. It looks kind of like a casino in a way, which doesn't really fit Grandpa because he's not much of a gambler. But it could also be like a giant board game as well. If you ever played the board game Battle Masters, If you don't know what Battle Masters is, there's a Board James
I
episode.
wasn't concentrating, and I paid for that.
There's an episode called Board James about it. You know, it's this giant mat that's like a carpet. Like, the mat to this game is huge. Or like one of those giant checker sets you see at a Cracker Barrel. Also, Grandpa's name is Solomon, and I don't think it's ever spoken in the show. They just call him Grandpa. Even Tristan and Joey call him Grandpa. And how many of you were aware that Yugi's mom...
Can you take it easy on your old grandpa?
...is in the show? Yep, he's not a shonen hero with absent parents. She's in 2 scenes, and both of which include Grandpa. And she only speaks in 1, which is cut from the dub.
Can't you take it easy on your old grandpa?
And it kind of makes me sad to say, but Grandpa was voiced by Madeline Blaustein, rest in peace. She passed away in 2008. And she's a very important figure in getting 4Kids where they were, as she voiced several characters in their dubs, but she also helped...
That's my grandson, strong as ever.
But she also played an important behind-the-scenes role as she wrote and directed and I think produced a lot of their dubs, too. I think her biggest role is probably Meowth and Grandpa himself, obviously, but she played a lot of characters. There's even this whole Bohemian Rhapsody parody in Meowth's voice, which is, that's something to look at, I guess. And yes, I am rambling. She also confirmed that they did the Porygon episode of Pokemon, and it was never released, so I think that's still lost media to this day. And we're actually getting really close to beating Grandpa here. He has 1 monster left, and I can attack him multiple times. We'll see what he can try to do. Yeah, I don't think he has many options left. He's going to go for my Karibo, but my Needleworm and my Root Water can get to him. My Man-Eating Plant. Yeah, Grandpa definitely fits the mentor archetype. He may not be Yugi's mentor, but he is the Master Roshi, Jiraiya, pervert level sensei type. So, it fits, I guess. And I'm pulling back with Needleworm because I want Needleworm to destroy that monster so we can get a bigger boost. So I'm going to weaken him with Cockroach Knight here. And then deal the finishing blow with Needleworm so I can level him up to 3. I need to get him leveled up. Perfect. I think this will be it.
This will finish you.
And just like that, Yugi has defeated Grandpa Muto.
Yugi, how about letting your grandpa win?
That's funny. There's some pretty wholesome moments in this duel. I like it a lot, because this will be the last time you see any of this. Because the next duels are going to be very antagonistic.
You've improved your skills greatly, Yugi. I lose.
But you held your own extremely well.
But don't let your guard down. The path ahead of you is still long and very competitive.
I know, but I promise to defeat my opponents and win the tournament.
I'll hold you to your promise, Yugi. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alright, with the after stage bonus, I should be able to get it. All my monsters level up. Very good. Okay, for this, put it all into effect strength. That'll boost all monsters with the same attribute. And level up. I got Wood's Protection for Needleworm. I'll explain what that does in the next part. And take the Exodia piece. Take the Exodia piece and Cockroach Knight. Those are the best monsters Grandpa has. Next time, we'll start Area 2, where our opponents will include Weevil Underwood, Mako Tsunami, Rex Raptor, the lovely and beautiful My Valentine, and Mokuba Kaiba. Let's hope he doesn't get kidnapped. See you there, folks. Have a good one.